Hi, my friends and family. My name's Trey, and I like to talk about wisdom here and today. I'm going to tell you why tyranny is poverty and self discipline is freedom. Baby, it's all I know. We all grew up in this same shit show, and it's got to go. I'll tell you, it's just what we do when it's time for you and I to roll. Just take these broken wings and learn to fly again. So free, and can't you hear the voices sing? Just take these broken wings and learn to fly again. So free. Open up the book of life and let me in. Tyranny is poverty, and self-discipline is wealth and freedom. You know why? Because every person who's truly ever been free, every person who had true wealth, got it from self-discipline and not tyranny. We exist in a matrix. Many of us had shots from, elementary school and fluoride gurgles, and we exist in a matrix where the control freaks, an entire big club, several big clubs, the dictators, the eugenicists, the neo-Nazis, and other unelected and elected would-be leaders have, especially 4 years ago, attempted to pull off the ultimate planetary takeover with their mighty impressive organization, bribes and threats, having, and successfully getting a lot of businesses to go out, having built up the incredibly low-minded world of 3D human slaves and soul harvesting loosh farms for millions of years after unplugging our DNA, after their master Lucifer unplugged our DNA a long time ago. We've had on the mainstream media and some of these major on-stream digital platforms across every desirable town. It seems that tyrants rule. The hellied inverted clowns control most folks' perception with their big apparatus and their 666 machine beast technology and of all sorts, from voice to skull to subtle subliminal control to, all the way to Humans 2.0, from Sumeria since Atlantis to Khazaria, from London to the U.S. Fed, the invention of the United States Fed, F-E-D, from floods and plagues to hot wars and shoot-'em-up wars to plagues and floods. The terrible Ouroboros eats its own tail. Our junior god slavers and their 1% wardens and handlers rule our planet, we think, more and more, taking us rapidly through their plutocracy into digital enslavement and the singularity with 5G, this wonderful, convenient 5G wireless and 6G coming everywhere, and CBDC. And some that work on that side will be happy to notice that my cheap pen that I used as a wand ran out of ink, so I'm going to have to do improv on the end, so it won't be too long. But ironically, these are all signs of the end of the era, actually. Just like how I mentioned, if you go to Rumble or Odyssey in several videos back, and the one that got taken down about how it was the the shooting of our favorite musicians and officiales that were helping us remember the oneness. Ironically, these are all signs of the end of the era of tyrants and robber barons, actually, because nothing these white-collar thugs promote under sustainability is at all in any type of healthy continuum or sustainable. Instead, they are goalposts pointing toward the end of their sick, false control, because, as they emblazon as the number one virtue is greed and ambition, their greed and ambition knows no bounds, so thus it's going to, be the end of the Ouroboros sooner or later here, or the end of our fake-ass inverted civilization. Why? Well, because the original experiment, as I've said on this channel many, many dozens of times before the lockstep plan, was to give humans free will and freedom. In the United States, it's been said even that, if you were a citizen of this country when it first started and they were trying to expand, it'd give you 40 acres and a mule. So the band Government Mule had their song, "Where's My Mule? Where's my 40 acres?" My friend Roland said to me recently, maybe we should, when I was discussing how I felt about this, where I'm sitting here, he said maybe we should give a plot of land to every poor or homeless person to grow their food on or to tend their, animals. That would be a real humanitarian idea. But you see, in the fake humanitarian socialist Illuminati kind of style, it's not gonna, it's got to be about the money. That would be real heart-based socialism, irrespective of to capitalism. And of course, freedom, the original law, what's called natural law by anarchists, is the way of the future. If the masters of capitalism are suiciding their own religion, like CBDC and vax passports destroy capitalism, for example. Like, this is a warning to anyone in the government or CIA or the federal government that's planning to do CBD, to force everyone onto CBDC this year. Just do your research, folks, man. My family in the government, do your research and check it out. Every nation or providence in the world that I know of where they did that, the citizens went to the federal buildings and either lit the buildings or the SUVs on fire, or both. Pallid effigies. The Berlin farmers were told that cow farts were destroying the world. So the last several months, they go to Crux, YouTube Crux TV, CRUX, and they'll tell you. So I saw it on there live. They were, the Belgian farmers drove their John Deere tractors to the parliament and put pallets in the front lawn and lit them on fire as an effigy to protest them trying to stop them from having their dairies. That's just how insane the Agenda 2030 actually is. So, if the masters of capitalism are suiciding their own religion, CBDC and vax passports destroy capitalism, studies have shown. All narcissist, petty tyrants are basically epitomizing universal poverty. Okay? The more of a tyrant you are, or the more you put up with it, the more of a tyrant I am, the more I put up with it, like a psycho borderline or a psycho empath, Pollyanna, the more suffering there's going to be. Okay? All narcissist petty tyrants are epitomizing universalized poverty, spiritual or psychological poverty, both. From Lucifer in the beginning to Klaus Schwab today, okay? Helping us all remain trapped in a trauma-bonded loop of financial slavery stuck in the Saturn Moon Matrix memory wipe, forced reincarnation, Matrix system in perpetuity, forever, until we have the extreme courage it takes to wake up. All tyrants are tied to the lands of psychological and even literal hell by their insistence in vampirism. Every hoovering and soul-sucking despot, especially the 1%, are pure, impoverished, bum cowards when it comes to real abundance, self-respect, respecting others, sovereignty, peace, harmlessness, learning how to discern, because they sold out. So basically, in every form, in every way you look at it, from every angle, every type of tyrant is the opposite of wealth, is the opposite of abundant. Now, they might have used a whip that might have been a couple hundred years ago, or even to this day, when they use, in different countries, they'll use child slaves or pay children, $3 an hour to make the clothes that some of us wear here. Okay? But no matter what the chain of command is, all tyrants, their karma depends on how bad they were, right? But all tyrants are tied to psychological hell by virtue of being a tyrant. That's what it does. So, in the end, you'll see that they have, it's on a scale, like I say, and the worse they get, the more NPEs they get, the more narcissistic predator entities they get. The more they turn into a narcissistic predator entity, the more they turn into a black hole. The more of a petty tyrant they will be, the more of a thug in their behavior. They will seem like a 3-year-old. Whereas Miles Davis said, discipline is freedom. Well, I would add as well, since I've learned how to make dinner money, or perhaps survive as a one-man band, that discipline, learning the discipline of being a one-man band in my case, discipline is wealth and freedom. If you learn a skill, if you go to college, if you learn online, if you're a brilliant enough person, if you can figure it out, discipline is wealth. Whereas allowing yourself to be controlled by a tyrant or being a tyrant is about the most psychologically and spiritually impoverished thing you can do as a habit. Because you turn into a vampire, sucking the energy dry because you're a weak coward when it comes to awakening. So, in order to have billions of dollars, the amount of selfishness it would take is hard to fathom for most of us, So, whereas when you have self-discipline, you don't need to engage in any tyranny. You don't need to. If you learn how to gray rock, or be polite, or if you know how to communicate with people when they're mentally ill, then they don't have to suck out your energy every single time. Every hoovering and soul-sucking despot, especially the 1%, are, they're not actually usually ever aware of what they're doing. Whereas if you understand what Miles Davis meant, you'll realize that there's a possibility that you can learn to discern a way to exist or even live in abundance outside of the bounds of the tyrants of this world. There's not that many people that have the courage and the discipline to have done that, like the Walden, or even especially people who've done it with the family. I saw an article in a magazine, I think National Geographic, about this couple, this Mexican couple, I think from San Diego, who were really tired of the high rent, so they were raising their kids on BLM lands in, I think, Arizona or Colorado. I mean, that takes some courage and could be reckless. I mean, their vehicle, their motor broke down one day, and he lost his job, and it could be a traumatic or dramatic life and reckless. But I mean, there's many opportunities for people who have the courage and the sense of adventure to go on that journey. So, but you don't have to be so closely tied, at least psychologically, at least spiritually, to all these tyrants who are always in all of our faces all the time in public spaces. But it does take a lot of spiritual self-discipline, awareness, gnosis, discernment, desire to find peace and awakening to do that. I mean, but it's all, if you're not going to hurt yourself or anyone else, if you're in harmlessness or amza, you can do anything at all you want. It's up to you. So if and when you have the courage to take upon this journey for your soul and your awakening journey, create a great one, my family. Loving you.